Hey everybody, David Ryshpan with you once again for another video here on YouTube. This is going to be a bit of a different video, more of a philosophical video, reflective video. I'm going to talk about the art of being a sub, as well as how to prepare the person that is replacing you. If you enjoy the content on this channel, please click like and subscribe. You can follow me on other social media platforms, including Instagram and Facebook, at Ryshpan Music. And if you're feeling particularly generous, you can go over to Patreon to support the channel and get access to exclusive content. This past week I subbed into the group OktoEcho, led by composer and oud player Katya Makdisi-Warren. And specifically I subbed into the repertoire of Transcestral, which is a project that unites and finds the links between indigenous music of North America and Sufi music. It's a really brilliant set of repertoire, and what I found really interesting is that even though it was my first time playing with OktoEcho, the members of the ensemble I know from very different parts of my artistic life. The pianists normally in that ensemble are Marianne Trudel or Jérôme Beaulieu, two artists and composers I know quite well and respect. When you're a sub, when I'm a sub, my focus is to almost be unnoticeable. I don't want anybody in the ensemble to remark that I'm there in a negative way. It's really important if you're parachuted into a working ensemble, a working band. If you're playing repertoire that's fixed, whether it's pop or classical music or something that is less improvisational, everyone is used to hearing certain parts coming from your instrument. When it's a more improvisational type of situation, I wouldn't even call that really subbing. That is you being called to offer your own artistic personality. Now with OktoEcho, it's a very interesting line to tread. It's such a unique musical and artistic vocabulary, this link between Sufi music and indigenous music, both of which are not genres that feature the piano and are not idiomatic to that instrument, or rather the instrument is not idiomatic to those styles of music. The ensemble for this show, Transcestral, is a quite particular ensemble. It's two ouds, kanun, two percussionists, bass, flutes of all different types, the Buffalo Hat Medicine Singers, Nina Segalowitz on throat singing, Josephine Bacon, a brilliant Innu poet, and Mo Clark, a Cree poet and vocalist. So there's a lot of instruments and a lot of density in that music that has nothing to do with piano. So the role that piano plays in that ensemble is very specific and has to kind of weave this line of improvising and understanding the different lexicons of all the music that Katya is weaving together, as well as being able to improvise. There's a lot of improvisation, at least in the repertoire that we played last week. There was a lot of open solos and space to improvise. So let's look at this from the two different angles. What is your responsibility as the musician who is subbing in to this ensemble? And what is the responsibility of the person who is subbing out to you in order to prepare you? A lot of my career has been subbing other people, and I kind of like that particular challenge of melding into a group and having to prepare quite a lot of music in not a lot of time. For some reason, I really thrive on that challenge. And in having done that, I've arrived at some insights about how to do it efficiently. Subbing is not an audition for that job. Subbing is to get the band through the gig. You are not trying to upstage the person who holds that chair, and you are not trying to steal their chair. That's really important. You are trying to make that ensemble sound as it usually does. You have to do the homework of listening to audio, whether or not it's been sent to you. You have to learn the tunes before the rehearsal and have an idea of what the sound world is of that band, what your vocabulary is going to be. If you are called to understudy a Shakespeare play, that's a very different job than subbing into something more contemporary. When you're a sub, there's a lot of work and preparation. You are not only representing yourself, but you are representing the person that referred you, the person that you are subbing for. If you have been called by somebody, whether it is the other, in my case, piano player, normally on the gig, or if you've been called in by the band leader or somebody else in the band, your performance in a sub situation is both a reflection on you and partially to the person who referred you and brought you into the gig. So when I sub out to somebody, I try to give them both sheet music and audio. I give them everything that I have. I always prefer to have both something that is visual and something that is oral. It definitely makes my learning curve less steep, and it gives me twice the feedback and twice the amount of information, and the audio is the be-all and end-all reference for subbing into any gig. In the case of OktoEcho, it was as important to have the audio as a pop gig with lots of programming and sounds would be, because even though it's just an acoustic piano gig, the language of what the piano does in that situation, surrounded by instruments that are not usual friends of the piano, that language that Marianne and Jérôme have developed inside of that ensemble is so specific and so particular that it was very important for me to understand what that language is. And then I can find my own personality inside of that framework. The same way in the composition and beat making video I talked about parameters, having that parameter of what is the role of the piano in this ensemble is very important to my learning process. The audio is really important, especially if what the player in the band, let's say it's a cover band, what the player in the band is doing and the sonic choices that they may have made compared to what the original record is a very important distinction. You are subbing the person in the band, you are not subbing the record. If the person who's the usual chair, if the person who's the usual member of that band has made different sonic choices, that's what you need to copy. At least that's my opinion. You're subbing into a working band, you don't want to entirely upend what those people are used to hearing. So if the person in the band has maybe not copied it 100% from the record, but has developed their own sonic footprint for that song, for that band, for that arrangement, that's what you are tasked to copy and recreate. It's an interesting dance to walk that line of bringing your own personality to the gig versus recreating what people have done before you in that chair. It really depends on the situation, and that's a discussion you need to have with the band leader, with the artist, with the person that you're subbing, that's something you need to ask them in advance. If there's no charts, make the charts that you need for yourself. If there's no audio provided, go to the band's website, go to their social media, go to their YouTube, find as much as you can to prep in advance. When I am subbing out to somebody, I try to give them as much information as possible in advance to maximize their possibility of doing their best job on the gig. When I call somebody to sub, it's not just their reputation in play, it's my reputation because I referred them, and it's also the band and ensemble's reputation because it's a performance. Whoever is in the keyboard chair needs to deliver. I hope that was helpful for people. Leave your best subbing stories in the comments below. Thanks to Katya and everyone in OktoEcho Transcestral for making beautiful music and for being my first show back in front of people in real time. If you enjoy the content on this channel, once again, please click like and subscribe. It is the easiest, most effective way to grow this channel and keep creating content for you. Please follow me over on the other social media platforms at Ryshpan Music everywhere. If you're feeling particularly generous, please go over to Patreon, support the channel, receive some extra bonus material, exclusive content. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay creative. See you next week. Shakespeare play, it is a very different